What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of TEW Confrontational. My name is Ty Workentine here with my little brother, Evan Workentine. And this episode's number 62 of TEW Confrontational. And today we got a special one for you guys. We have the incredible honor and privilege to have one of my old time pals, Mr. Ben AMMANN, on the program. So warm welcome for Ben AMMANN. Appreciate you coming on, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then with the 2024 draft officially a week away now, only 7 days when this comes out, there's no better time to do a little mock draft action of our own. So yeah, with that being said, welcome to the first ever TEW Confrontational mock draft 1.0. And this is the only 0.0 we're doing, so let's make it a good one. And so yeah, we'll head into the 2024. So a lot of controversy, not controversy, but there is a little thing happening. I'm a Vikings fan. Ben, you're a Vikings fan. And just kind of like a key thing, which could mix up some things, but there's a little altercation going on with a little tampering with Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, which could potentially do a trade swap, but that hasn't came out yet. The news hasn't came out, or the stuff hasn't came out making that for sure. But what are your takes on that, Ben? I know you were texting earlier. You're kind of looking forward to hopefully that news dropped before this, so we can kind of tell what's going to happen. But that news hasn't came out yet. So
Right. Yeah. And I think it obviously changes the Vikings' plans if they get the eighth pick over the 11th pick. I mean, that has a lot more value. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think was it the Falcons and Bucks last year that same thing happened, and they announced it like the day before the draft or the day of the draft. So I mean, I think it's deserving if they did tamper. Kirk was my guy, so I'm bummed to see him
yeah, right.
Atlanta now. But looking forward to the future. And if we can get that eighth pick, I think it drastically changes where they're sitting now. But regardless, I think they're going to make a move. So
Yeah, because
absolutely.
we did make a couple moves with the Houston Texans to get the 23rd pick and everything. So we got a little bit more draft capital, or the 11th pick and all that good stuff. So we got some draft capital in the first round there. So potentially making a move because we're looking at a quarterback and everything like that. So, and then you're a Packers fan, Evan. What are the Packers looking at, like what they're needing and stuff like that for the draft?
I think, yeah, they're mainly looking, free safety, corner. I think corner is probably the biggest thing, and this is a draft heavy corner, or corner draft heavy, so there's a lot of good corners out there, and I think they'll probably end up drafting one. And obviously we'll go through those, but just a few to name, like Kool-Aid McKinstry, obviously Cooper DeJean, he's a big Iowa guy, and got Quinion Mitchell, he's a beast. Ran a quick 40, ran a 4.33 40. So I'm guessing they'll stick around that defensive back area. But just overall, I think this draft is one of the biggest. Obviously, we got a lot of quarterbacks. You got 5 or 6 quarterbacks that could possibly go in the first round. I don't know how likely that is, but then you got a lot of offensive tackles. A lot of offensive tackles, and wide receivers is huge too. So it's gonna be a fun draft. And like you mentioned with the Vikings, I think everybody's looking forward to see what they end up doing if they're going to move up, and that's always the best part about the draft is just seeing the trades that go on, and all the big news that comes out right during the draft or right before. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, 100%. This is a loaded draft class, like you said, a lot of talent, especially at the quarterback position. You're probably going to see a quarterback going at least the 3 out of the top 5, maybe 4 out of the top 5, possibly 5 out of the top 5, depending. Like you said, never know with the unexpected trades that could come out of nowhere. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks that traded some away. Like Washington Commanders, I know they have the second pick, but what are they going to do? New England Patriots, what are they going to do? They signed Jacoby Brissett, and then they have Bailey Zappi. So, I mean, who knows what they're going to do for the quarterback situation there. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could be going down and stuff like that. But yeah, let's just hop right into it with the number 1 overall pick. Chicago Bears secured that from the trade with the Carolina Panthers last year so they got the number 1 overall pick. But what do you think? I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. I think we all know what's going to happen here. But yeah, who do you got?
Unanimous.
Yeah,
Unanimous. Caleb Williams. I mean, he's a shoe-in, what they call generational talent. But so I hate to see him go to the Bears. I hope he's not worth that. But I have Caleb Williams going number 1, hands down.
Yeah, I don't think there was much debate here. I think, yeah, Caleb Williams, number 1. And then they got rid of Justin Fields too, which kind of solidified the pick for a quarterback in that sense. And then I think, yeah, Caleb Williams was written on the wall for the past year now. So think, yeah. And he didn't do any pro days, or he did pro day, but didn't do the combine, but he should balled out at his pro day and everything. So
Yeah, I got to go Caleb Williams as well. And like Ben said, I mean, it's kind of scary. I mean, all we're NFC North, all of our teams are NFC North, so it's pretty scary just to see. I mean, the Bears. I mean, if they get Caleb Williams, they got Keenan Allen, they got DJ Moore. I mean, they're going to be a scary offense. I'm not sure who their running back is, but I'm used to the Bears just being like very shitty and kind of dominating them. Yeah, but they're going to be pretty good, I think.
At the end of the day, though, we can still hope it's the Bears. I mean, they
Yeah.
can somehow
Yeah.
screw this up. They didn't fire their head coach like everyone thought they would. So, I mean, that might play a favor in their back pocket as well. But
Yeah.
I'd look to the Bears really turning it around now. So the NFC North is going to be thick with talent.
Definitely.
So
yeah, they did make a lot of moves, and they got the 9th pick too. So I mean, they could still add additional weapons like on the outside. I know they picked up Keenan Allen. They have DJ Moore. Khalil Herbert was their running back last year. He played well, and then he got injured halfway through the season, but he's going to be back, and he's young. So they could go another wide receiver like Roma Dunze or whatever if he's still available at 9, or I doubt Malik Neighbors is still available at 9, but you never know what could happen with that pick. So yeah, unanimous decision all around for Caleb Williams, number 1, to the Chicago Bears. And then you have the Washington Commanders sitting at number 2 overall, and they made a lot of moves last year and in the offseason. They pretty much restarted fresh with firing their coach, got a new GM, all that good stuff. Releasing Montez Sweat to the Bears, Chase Young left, Sam Howell's gone. Antonio Gibson's gone, so they got a lot of places, a lot of spots to fill in the Commanders program. But yeah, who do you got going number 2 overall, Ben? They need quarterback, edge. They need a lot of positions.
I think this pick's probably been already decided as well. I don't think they're trading it. I think they're leaving it. I have them going with the Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels. I mean, he balled out in college. He went out and got his bag now, and he's gonna be a top pick, whether it's the Commanders or if the Commanders decide to go elsewhere. I have him going with Jaden Daniels to the Commanders, though. I think it's a good fit. New ownership there, some talent on the outside. Couple new running Austin Eckler's now at the Commanders.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Austin Eckler.
They let some dudes go on defense, so they're probably not quite ready yet. But I don't think you can go wrong with taking Jaden Daniels at number 2. I mean, Heisman winner for a reason. So
yeah, and he was like one of the top-rated quarterbacks heading in. Yeah, even top. He had a higher passer rating, higher percentage, or a higher overall rating than Caleb Williams. But yeah, Caleb Williams balled out the first like 5-6 games, and then didn't really do much after that. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, terrific quarterback. I don't have him going at 2. I know he balled out. I mean, I mean, you could rotate any of these next couple picks at quarterback between these spots here. But I have the Drake May out of North Carolina going number 2. I mean, I think they like the North Carolina. They had Sam Howell, who was a North Carolina Tar Heel a couple of years ago that they drafted. So I think they're gonna stick with the North Carolina system and go rock with Drake May. But yeah, like I said, you can flip Jaden Daniels and Drake May, even JJ McCarthy in that 2 spot too. So yeah, I got Drake May going number 2, but I do agree with that Jaden Daniels. I see that in a lot of mock drafts as well.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going Jaden Daniels as well. Like you said, Ty, it could be flopped. I actually do have him flopped or flipped. I just don't know. I think that Jaden Daniels, being a young team, I mean, letting go a lot of people, they're gonna have to rebuild. I think their oldest player, one of their oldest players, is gonna be Austin Eckler. But what they do in this draft is really gonna be the tell-all if they draft a lot of young receivers and just let that young receiver core build with that young quarterback. But yeah, I'm gonna go Jaden Daniels at number 2 to the Commanders.
No, yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, yeah, they obviously need a quarterback. They don't have any quarterbacks, so you think they're going quarterback there. And then they have 2 second rounders at the 4th overall in the second round and the 8th overall in the second round. So they do have some wiggle room to improve on the other positions. But yeah, I think they need a lot of defense. Their defense hasn't been living up to the hype. Like, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, their defense came in as being one of the most talked about defenses in the league and didn't hardly do anything with the talent they had with Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, they're gonna probably need to beef up on the defensive end, but yeah, they got rid of pretty much everyone and added Austin Eckler. So I mean, yeah, they're gonna need some weapons for sure besides Terry McLaurin and Austin Eckler in the back on the offensive end. But yeah, I think this is a total rebuild for the Redskins or for the Commanders for sure.
Yeah, watch it, dude.
Yeah, I want to get canceled on here. So.
Yeah, but they got a lot of picks. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 picks this draft.
And I didn't look up who they all signed in the free agency, but I know they were rated, I think, B plus, A minus. So they had a heck of a free agency too. Made some key signings. Obviously Eckler being one of them. But yeah, I mean, they're set up for the future. They're going to be set up for the future. They got a good fan base out there, so, and a new coach. So I think they can turn it around. And James Daniels is probably going to be that guy. But like you said, Ty, too, to wrap that up, the second pick, Drake May, JJ McCarthy. I don't think you can probably go wrong with either one of those guys. But
right. And yeah, just looking up, I just wanted to see who they released and picked up for as far as the Commanders go. Kendra Fuller, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Jacoby Brissett, all those guys are gone, but they did add Marcus Mariota as a backup QB, which I mean, he had his runs with like the Titans and the Falcons and all that good stuff, but yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Austin Eckler is probably the biggest get for them, and then Jamison Crowder too. He's a little older, but yeah, they did make a lot of moves in the offseason for sure. And yeah, traded people away, got rid of people, and then added a bunch of people. But yeah, well, let's move on to pick number 3. We spent a lot of time on Washington Commanders when they're probably not going to be a whole lot next year. But
rebuild.
Yeah, with pick number 3, you have the New England Patriots, and this is where things could get interesting, and trades could happen and stuff like that. But I'm interested to hear what you got at pick number 3, Ben.
So this pick was tough for me because I think the Vikings are a potential trade partner for the Patriots.
Yep.
I think the Patriots asking price is going to be too much, mostly because you look at next year's quarterback class and it's very, very weak. I mean, we don't need to get into the names there, but this is one of the deepest quarterback classes we've seen in quite some time. So I think they're going to take advantage of how deep it is. They're going to go out and get their guy. This is probably not on a lot of people's boards, but I have the Patriots going with JJ McCarthy. I think he kind of fits that Patriot mold a little bit. Ty, like you said, they signed Jacoby Brissett, so he doesn't have to play right away. And they can definitely use their future draft picks later on in this draft to get some dudes. So I have them going JJ. I don't know if that's on a lot of people's boards or not, but I think ultimately the Patriots asking price is too much for the Vikings to agree to. So the Vikings, don't decide to make that trade, and the Patriots go ahead and get their guy at 3 with JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, that's funny that you said it's not on a whole lot of people's boards, but I actually have the same thing. I have the Patriots staying at number 3. I just think they're going to want a whole load and a half for the 3rd overall pick. So I have the Patriots staying at number 3 and selecting JJ McCarthy. He's a winner. He comes in and he's known as like a game facilitator. He's like a game manager and everything is what he's labeled as. And I mean, that's a perfect fit. I mean, it isn't led by Bill Belichick or anybody like that since he's moving on, but I do think it's the perfect system quarterback for the Patriots. Resembles a lot, not like Tom Brady, but maybe like a Brock Purdy, who is now kind of being pointed to as like a Tom Brady type player with all that good stuff. So, I mean, I actually have, JJ McCarthy going number 3 to the Patriots, to replace their quarterback and starting over there, in New England. So
they've had good luck with Michigan dudes. So,
yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, Tom Brady, I mean, the 6th or 7th round and later, but yeah. Did have good luck with the Michigan quarterback. So
yeah, they do. Yeah, I'm not going JJ. I'm gonna go Drake May to the Patriots. I don't know. There's like you said, there's 5 or 6 quarterbacks here, so it's a tough pick. I think Drake May, just because I do, obviously what's gonna happen later on, a few picks later, I think it makes a huge impact. So I do think Drake May goes to the Patriots, and then JJ lands elsewhere. I think.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. I mean, these picks are going to be, yeah, none of these are, they could all be interchanged. But yeah, so I have JJ, Ben has JJ, and then you have
Drake May.
Drake May going to the Patriots. And that's a good, I mean, yeah, he feels like a New England type guy to me too. I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah, we'll see what happens. But number 4 overall pick, you have the Arizona Cardinals, who already have a quarterback in Kyler Murray. If you want, yeah, if you want to label him as a quarterback there, but I mean, yeah, what do you got going on in there, Ben, for the
So,
Arizona Cardinals?
yep, you kind of hit the hammer on the nail there. I have them staying at 4. They obviously don't need a quarterback, so I see the first position player coming off the board. I think you can't go wrong with Marvin Harrison Jr. in this
Right.
spot. I would like to seen him work out at the pro day or the NFL combine. I know he didn't complete his season at Ohio State, so there's not a ton of history there, minus him absolutely balling out at Ohio State. But I see them getting their next D Hop with Kyler Murray there. I think Marvin Harrison's going to be an absolute dog, and the Cardinals, they don't want to trade with somebody and have somebody else take them that also needs a wide receiver, so they're going to take advantage of their spot and rock with Marvin Harrison there.
Yep, I got the same thing. Yeah, they got Kyler Murray. Yeah, was hurt all last year. Didn't really get to do a whole lot. But he does show signs of being somewhat of a reliable quarterback. But I do think they need to add weapons. They got rid of Rondell Moore. They didn't really have a whole lot of weapons last year. They picked up Desmond Ritter from the Falcons for Rondell Moore. So they got somewhat of a backup,
Mm-hmm.
maybe reliable quarterback. But if Kyler Murray's hurt, you got that, but you're gonna need weapons around him no matter what. So yeah, I have Marvin Harrison. Doesn't drop any balls thrown his way. Larry Fitzgerald type of player. Yeah, like you said, DeAndre Hopkins type deal. So I mean, yeah, I think this is a great pickup for the Arizona Cardinals, and he honestly could be a franchise player that the Arizona Cardinals build around, like the Minnesota Vikings did with JJ. So
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Marvin Harrison Jr. too. Just the reason because they did have Hollywood Brown. They let him go to KC, and then obviously Rondell Moore. So having Kyler Murray back and healthy, I think you need a big weapon for him to throw to. So I think they got to go with Marvin Harrison. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
hell yeah, unanimous pick on that, and I think that's a lot of people have that in their mock. As far as Marvin Harrison. Oh, maybe not the Cardinals, but Marvin Harrison for sure going off as the number 1 wide receiver for the draft. But then
Malik
moving on
Neighbors
to
too, though.
Malik.
Neighbors, he's getting some talks
Mm-hmm.
about, he produced at down there in Louisiana. So
Yeah, and especially is at his combine with that. What do you run, like a 4.41 or something like that? But he's just like 6'4", 250 pounds, just a tank, and he can run a 4.4. Yeah, I mean he's just a beast of a dude, and yeah, he did produce. And one of the reasons why Jaden Daniels is won in the Heisman and produced all the numbers that he did. So, and then
Mm-hmm.
the next one, number 5. Los Angeles Chargers. This is where kind of potentially a trade could come into play. You could have saw one at 3, potentially maybe at 4, but 5 is that big spot where Chargers already have their franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert. They don't need it, and this is a huge because they pretty much got rid of everyone as well. Got rid of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. So they need more draft capital probably than a quarterback at number 5. So they could get a lot of picks for this overall number 5 overall spot. So yeah, what do you got having going on here, Ben?
this is where, when we're watching the draft here in next week, you're going to see the trade ticker come up, and it's going to have the Minnesota Vikings name written all over it.
Yes, sir.
I have them offering the 11, 23, and next year's first. I mean, it's still going to be a haul,
Yeah.
but I mean, you got to make moves in this league. You got to spend money to make money. And the Vikings have so much talent on offense that they don't really need to address too much there. I have them going with Drake May. I have them trading up with the Chargers. JJ McCarthy might be their guy, but I really think
Yeah.
Drake May fits their mold. he'll be able to come in and sit behind a very reliable player in Sam Darnold. He doesn't have a ton of history, but you saw what Joe Flacco did last year. Backup quarterbacks, they're there for a reason. There's a reason why they signed him. But I have Drake May going there. He's going to look great in purple. And I think he's going to be throwing 60-yard bombs to JJ and Addison and little fade routes to TJ Hawkinson for years to come.
Yeah,
he's probably going to go back to Haunt Evan. I mean, I would love that.
Yeah.
With the Packers having so much talent at the quarterback position for as long as we've been alive. So I think the Vikings finally get their guy. I think the last time they drafted a quarterback was Teddy Bridgewater at 32. And then before that, Christian Ponder. Those obviously didn't turn out for their own reasons. But having a top 5 pick like that now, I'm loving the Drake May. They're trading a lot for him, but I think it's worth it. So that's who I have.
Yeah, I got kind of the same scenario that you have going on. Vikings moving up, getting rid of the 11th and the 23rd. And I think, I don't know what they have next year. I think they might go a second next year. I hopefully don't get rid of their first, but if that's the asking price, I mean, we need, this is the move. This is the year we go and get a franchise quarterback. But I had Drake May going to the Commanders, but I still have Jaden Daniels on my board. So I hope the Vikings, Jaden Daniels stays in purple and yellow and just keeps his cleats, keeps everything and just takes it to Minnesota. And we get a versatile, person quarterback who can run, throw, do all sorts of things, opens up the field for everything on offense. And we have Aaron Jones now. We got Jordan Addison, who had a stellar rookie year. We have JJ, obviously. We have TJ Hawkinson. Hopefully he's back and healthy after his ACL and stuff like that. But Vikings made a lot of moves this season. We haven't seen a lot. Vikings do a whole lot of that in the previous years of trading big superstar players and stuff like that. So, and moving up in the draft. So this is going to be exciting. Hopefully we see the Vikings pop up on that trade ticker for sure. But yeah, I would be excited to see Jaden Daniels as a Minnesota Vikings. So I got Jaden Daniels going at 5, hopefully to the Minnesota Vikings. So
wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, I have the same.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I have the same situation. I do have the Chargers trading back to the Minnesota Vikings, or Minnesota Vikings trading up. I'm not sure what the Chargers will be asking or what the Minnesota's going to be willing to give up, but I think that they'll end up taking J.J. McCarthy because he's still on my board. So it's kind of cool. We each have three different quarterbacks going to the Vikings, and I think all of those scenarios are realistic. But I do think the Vikings need to move up and need to get that 5 spot because they need a quarterback. And with this QB saturated draft, you got to grab one early.
Yeah, does if the trade swap happens between the Falcons and the Vikings, do you think we move up, Ben, to the 5 spot still with the 8th overall pick, or do we let it slide and play it out and maybe get like a Michael Penix, or if maybe hopefully JJ McCarthy's still there or something crazy happens to where we can still have 2 first-round picks and still get the guy we want?
That would be great. And I think there is a scenario because I had a second draft mock draft that I did, and I have him staying at 11 and 23 with the hypothetical of getting the 8th. I do think that JJ might be a little high on some people's boards.
Right.
So he might fall. I mean, I see a lot of value in him, but I'm just a fan. So I think if they did get the 8th, I think they would honestly stay. They can use their 23rd pick to either move up again in this draft and go get a defensive tackle or something like that, or they can stay as is, maybe get their 2nd round pick back and move back for a later 1st round pick and then use a 2nd round pick as well. I would love JJ at 8 if it's even a possibility.
Yeah, right.
But I know who is in front of them, and that's the Giants.
And the Giants need they
have Daniel Jones. They signed him to a big contract, but they're not sold on Daniel Jones.
I don't think so either.
I think Brian Dable doesn't want to, hedge his career on a quarterback that had struck gold against a terrible Vikings defense in the playoffs. I mean, we saw his production last year. It fell off dramatically once he got paid. But yeah, I mean, I have him at 5, like I said, still trading up. But in that situation, I think I would love JJ McCarthy at 8 there.
Yeah, I think that would be in a perfect world where if we did get that 8th pick. We stay at 8 and 23. We get our guy at 8 on the quarterback side, and then we just continue on the draft, possibly move up. But yeah, like you said, the Giants like aren't 100%. I don't think they're 100% confident on Daniel Jones. And they're sitting at 6 right after the Chargers pick there at 5. So, and yeah, so with the Giants pick, who do you got at 6 then for that?
I got the big man out of Notre Dame, Joe Alt.
Okay.
Daniel Jones was running for his life.
Yep.
Saquon Barkley now, he's in Philly now, but he didn't have much room to go. I think, he averaged just under about 3 yards to carry last year, from what I remember. So
Yeah, it wasn't
showing up that offensive line, getting the best overall left tackle in college football. Joe Alt, he anchored Sam Howell there in Notre Dame, and he'll look to anchor Daniel Jones or whoever their quarterback might be. So that's who I'm rolling with.
Yep. So I mean, yeah. So there's a couple different scenarios where this can go. Yeah, 100% not sold on Daniel Jones. Could go get a quarterback. Could get something to protect Daniel Jones and have him not running for his life and not be one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. Or you could go out. They haven't had anybody as a weapon in New York since Odell Beckham. They could go out, and that's what I have here on my mock draft. I have them going wide receiver to Malik Neighbors out of LSU at number 6 there to complement and accommodate Daniel Jones on the offensive end, because yeah, they don't have much. You had Sterling Shepard there for a little bit, who was going to be good, and then yeah, the few not a very many. I can't even think of any people
Isaiah
on that team.
Hodges, who killed the Vikings in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Darren Waller was there for a little bit.
Yep, he retired. So yeah, I like that pick. I could see that happening.
Yeah, so I think the Giants are gonna go with a wide receiver here, and I'm gonna go Malik Neighbors at 6. So yeah, that's what I got. Who do you got, Ev?
Yeah, I'm gonna go receiver as well. I think that the Giants, given Daniel Jones 40 million around him, I think they're gonna get a receiver, and I think they're gonna pick up Rome Odunze out of Washington, 6'3", 215, big dude, big target, and like you said, Ty, he hasn't. Daniel Jones hasn't really had many weapons around him. Obviously, offensive line's a huge thing, so Joe Alt would be a big pickup. But I think they go out and get a weapon for Daniel Jones to see what he can do. He's a $40 million quarterback, but it's not performing like that, so they need a big weapon for him. And I think Rome Odunze is going to go at 6 to the Giants.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Rome Odunze's stock rose hella in the combine and his pro day and all that good stuff. So he was balling out, and he put on a performance in college, having the most yards in the NCAA FBS history, or not FBS, but maybe history, but just this season. So, but yeah, that would be a solid pick. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants moved down either, to be completely honest with you. I mean, to get more draft capital and stuff like that. If somebody wants to come up and get Joe Alt or something like that, because yeah, gonna be a lot of teams looking to get offensive lineman. New York Jets, who knows? The Jets need offensive linemen. They just got a lot of wide receiver, Mike Williams and stuff like that. So wouldn't be surprised if they try to move up and get an offensive lineman either. I saw Jets moving up to this 6th spot to get Joe Alt in a few mock drafts. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens either. But in my mock draft, I have Malik Neighbors going at number 6. So
there you go.
Yeah. And then you have the Tennessee Titans, who just got rid of their franchise running back and Derrick Henry, who's now a Baltimore Raven. They got pick number 7. And so they got Will Levis, DeAndre Hopkins. They made a lot of moves here in the offseason. Who else did they pick up?
Tony Pollard.
Pollard. Yeah. I think they got another wide receiver too. I can't remember, but yeah, they made a lot of moves in the offseason. So what do you have the Titans doing there at number 7, Ben?
So I envision 2 picks here, 2 different dudes. Excuse me, both out of the SEC. I have them going with Malik. They're probably crossing their fingers that the Giants go tackle or go a different route. So I have them going with Malik. But I really could see them going with the big man out of Georgia, Brock Bowers, tight end there. I have them going down a couple more picks after that in mind, but I could see them hypothetically doing that too. He's a stud, but and we just had, we talked a lot about Malik already, so we don't need to get into that anymore. But I had the Titans going with Malik there. He's going to shore up that offensive weapon room with Will Levis there taking the helm, and new coach down there as well. So I have them getting a position player there with Malik.
Heck yeah. That wouldn't be a bad pickup. I mean, yeah, get all the weapons you can to surround Will Levis with so he can throw the ball. But I have them going kind of the same direction, but protecting Will Levis. I have them picking up the Notre Dame big guy, Joe Alt, going number 7 to the Tennessee Titans. They haven't really had a offensive tackle or anybody there to protect on the offensive line since like what? Who's that guy that does busting with the boys? Taylor Lewan left. I mean, yeah, since he retired, they haven't really had much of a offensive line presence.
You're stealing my thought here, man.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, I have Joe Alt going number 7 to the Tennessee Titans. Go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, so like I was gonna say, yeah, I'm going Joe Alt too. Obviously got Tony Pollard, great running back, obviously dominating Dallas. Put a big man in front of him so he can run. And obviously Will Levis needs a line in front of him. But yeah, I was gonna say Joe Alt 6'7", 322. Same build as Taylor Lewan was. Big white dude. If Joe Alt with some tattoos on him, you might as well call him Taylor Lewan. So,
yeah, and grows out his hair.
The Titans are going Joe Alt. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So I'm gonna go Joe Alt to the Titans at 7.
Yeah, sorry to see your thunder, bud, but yeah, no, 100%. I think this would be a good spot. I think, yeah, Joe Alt is the betting favorite at -105 to go 7th to the Titans. Because yeah, you saw the O-line with the Tennessee Titans, not very good at all. They desperately need an offensive line presence. So I think they go Joe Alt at number 7. So all right, and then we have pick number 8. So we just got done going over number 7. So Atlanta Falcons have pick number 8, which we already talked about. This could go either way, either 8 or 11. But as of right now, Atlanta has the number 8th overall pick. Who do you got? Who do you got? The Atlanta Falcons. So who do they got? Kirk Cousins, Drake London, Robinson, tight end
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. So
they got a decent offensive line.
Yep, they got a decent defense too. I mean, their safety, I can't remember his name, but he had like 5 interceptions last year. What was his name? But yeah, anyway, who do you have Atlanta going on at number 8?
Yeah, no, I have them adding to their defense, actually. The first defensive player off the board. And it's going to be Dallas Turner. I think, unanimously, he's probably the best defensive player in college football out of Alabama there. Have them, he's an edge rusher. He's going to bring a lot of versatility to their defense. And I think they have enough offensive weapons. So yeah, I have Dallas Turner going pick number 8 to Atlanta.
Yep, I think so. Yeah, I have the same thing. This part of the draft is kind of pretty self-explanatory here in the next couple of picks. But yeah, Atlanta loaded up on offense in the free agency. So yeah, I think they help out their new defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, and yeah, just load up on defense. I think they're just going to focus on defense. But yeah, they did have a pretty good defense last year, but yeah, it doesn't help to always add to it. I think the reason why, last year they were in like how many close games? Like it was they either win by 3 or lost by 3.
Yeah, that's so many close games.
Yeah, and so I think that defense is going to really help solidify some of those games. They were kind of the same way the Vikings had been for the past like 10 seasons, is either win by 3 or lose by 3. So yeah, I have Dallas. I don't think I said that. Dallas Turner, same thing as you, Ben, at number 8, the Alabama edge rusher.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go a different direction here. I'm gonna just get, like you said, they're added up on free agency. They got a stacked, pretty young but good offense. I think they're gonna go J.C. Latham from Bama. He's a big offensive tackle. I think he's like 6'6". I know he's like 370. He's a big dude.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think they're going to go there. And I kind of watched him in the draft, kind of watching Mason McCormick. I watched a lot of the offensive tackles, which I never do. But yeah, I think he's going to go to the Falcons to help protect Kirk. So yeah, I'm going to go J.C. Latham to the Falcons at 8.
No, yeah, that wouldn't be surprising at all to see to see a offensive lineman to go help Kirk Cousins. Yeah, sorry, I had a blank space there, but yeah, that would be a good pick there. So yeah, at number 9 you have the Chicago Bears. You already know they had Caleb Williams at number 1. And then what do you got them doing at number 9, Ben?
I got them going with Rome Odunze from Washington. I mean, they obviously got Keenan Allen. I would hate this pick because I think he's going to be a stud, but I don't see him falling out of the 10th pick. The Bears could move it, but ultimately I think they decide to rock with the wide receiver there and give Caleb Williams as much help as he can need.
Yep, and yeah, I have the same thing. Guy led the FBS in yards, and yeah, like you said, Evan, you have him going earlier, 6'3", 215 pounds, just a beast of a dude, fast. Yeah, just had 15 touchdowns last season. Yeah, I just think he's gonna be a dog. And I have the Bears. I think this is more of just for a value pick. I don't think the Bears need another wide receiver. I think they did get rid of Darnell Mooney, which he could help replace, but they also picked up Keenan Allen. They have DJ Moore. They have a young Cole Kmet who is kind of starting to produce and turn into a real good tight end. But yeah, I think this is more of a value pick. So I could see them trading it away, get some value from it, or just take Rome Odunze there at number 9, just add to the weapons around him. So
yeah, I know I sure won't like this if this happens, and I know you guys won't either probably. I have the Bears at 9 going Malik Neighbors. I think that they're going to stack. I mean, Caleb Williams at pick 1, as we've seen before, besides last year, pick 1 at quarterback doesn't usually pan out the way everybody wants it to besides last year and C.J. Stroud, but I think they're going to put as many offensive weapons around Caleb Williams so he can succeed. So yeah, he's going to have a stack. I think they're going to go Malik Neighbors if he's still there. The likelihood that being actually happening, but I don't think so. But I'm going to go Malik Neighbors.
I think they're 1 and 2, either Malik Neighbor or I guess 2 and 3 after Marvin Harrison. But yeah, I think you can flop those two. But yeah, incredible season for Rome Odunze, and you had Michael Penix thrown to him. So we'll see where Michael Penix lands because we haven't mentioned him at all. But we'll see what happens there. But then you have pick 10, New York Jets. I mentioned it, possibility of them moving up, but if they stay at 10, who do you got there, Ben?
I don't see Brock Bowers falling past 10.
Yeah.
So Mr. Georgia himself, Aaron Rodgers, gets an absolute stud at number 10 here. I'm really rooting for, maybe the Jets to make some noise over there, new team out in the AFC. So I like the Brock Bowers pick here. You could go the big dude out of Penn State. I'm not going to even begin to know how to pronounce his name. They could get him there, but I don't see Brock Bowers falling past 10 there, and I think the Jets take full advantage of it without having to trade any draft capital to move up.
Yeah, no, that makes a whole lot of sense. I just got one question for you. Since Aaron Rodgers has left the Packers, have you been starting to become more of a fan of him?
100%. I mean, he speaks the truth, whether if it's football or, he probably should stay out of politics.
Yeah.
Right. But no, I was really bummed to see him go down. He's becoming more likable, and he's not as much of a prick as I once thought he was. I think my hatred for the Packers probably made me hate him. I also hated Brett Favre, and when he left, and
came to the Vikings and took us on that playoff run. Yes, I liked him then.
So I like Brock Bowers. I think Rodgers is going to like throwing to the big, 6'7", blazing speed, vertical threat, red zone threat. Can't go wrong with this pick. It's a home run pick. You pair him up with Garrett Wilson. They have Breece Hall, and I think they signed another running back because they got rid of Delvin Cook now. So I think, they could definitely use offensive line, but Brock Bowers is too valuable. I think he goes.
You made a good point. It would be tough to see Brock Bowers fall past 10, but I do have him falling past 10. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be, hey, we got some weapons and I can throw to these guys. Now just protect me so that shit doesn't happen again. So I think they're just going to load up. I have Evans pick At number, where'd you take CJ Latham at number 8 with the Falcons?
JC Latham at
JC
number 8.
Latham.
Number
Yeah,
8, yep.
I have JC Latham going number 10 to the Jets if they don't move up and pick Joe Alt. But yeah, I have JC Latham. But yeah, Brock Bowers, like you said, Ben, is the betting favorite to land at number 10 to the Jets. And yeah, it would be a huge compliment. Aaron Rodgers loves throwing to the tight ends, loves the little short routes like Devonta Adams always used to run. And who knows? Yeah, you could see the Jets moving up to pick up Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze to add another weapon. So who knows? But I have them taking offensive line here at pick number 10.
Yeah, good point. I mean, yeah. But I'm gonna side with Ben here. I think they do take Brock Bowers. Just having Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, got Breece Hall in the backfield, and then a big target in Brock Bowers. And I know this is a big draft. I think Rodgers wants another big weapon, especially in the end zone. And the Packers didn't really give him that. I mean, it was all the front office making those decisions. They didn't listen to Rodgers, and the Jets should have learned that lesson. They're going to take Brock Bowers at 10, and that kind of puts their offense together. I mean, Mike Williams, good target if he stays healthy. Garrett Wilson, stud. Breece Hall in the backfield, and then a big body in the end zone, and Brock Bowers. And yeah, like you said, 240. You ran. I have this. You ran a 4.53 at 240, 6'4". That's hauling ass.
Tight end.
So yeah,
I mean, as a tight end, he's burning linebackers.
Yeah, watching his highlights and just running over people too. He's not just quick and elusive. He just trucks people too. So yeah, he's gonna be fun to watch in the NFL. I'm excited to see what he does and produces. Yeah, and then you have the Vikings at pick 11. But with the trades and everything, we have the Chargers falling back to 11 for all of us then?
Yeah,
okay.
For all of us.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So yeah, pick 11, you have with our mock draft, you have the Vikings trading up to 5, Chargers falling back to 11. So Chargers would be on the clock at 11. Who do you got them going with there, Ben?
Again, I'm not going to begin to know how to pronounce his name, but the big dude from Penn State. I mean,
Fashanu. Fashanu
is
his last name, but yeah, his first name, yeah, for sure. Don't try to pronounce that, but
I was big. I love the combine this year. I was watching my boys up from SDSU ball out there, so I saw him play. And I think you could go with the Alabama JC there as well, but I think ultimately Harbaugh loves his big man. He's preaches and thinks, and I agree with this method. Games are won in the trenches, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball. So I have the Chargers taking advantage of that pick there, and ultimately pairing them up with Peeney over there at the right tackle spot.
Yep, from USF.
Yep. So I love that pick. They have weapons still. They have obviously probably a top 8 quarterback in Herbert. So they're going to look to protect him even further there and have 2, potentially all-pro tackles at each position there.
There we go.
Yeah, I have him going with an offensive tackle as well. I don't have Fasanu. I have the other, the Talisa Fuega going at from Oregon State. He had a good combine and everything like that. He's ranked 3rd in the offensive tackle. And then that the Fashanu is ranked 1st, but so yeah, you could flip-flop these two, but I do have Fuagu going number 11 to their Chargers. I think he had a good combine, and Jim Harbaugh made his intentions very clear. He wants to protect his guy Justin Herbert and everything like that. So I think Jim Harbaugh is going to be a good coach. I think he's going to do well, hopefully. And I like the Chargers, so I think I like what they're doing there and kind of restructure and everything like that. So I got him going Fuaga, or however you pronounce his name, at 11.
Yeah, I didn't think that either of you guys were going to pick offensive tackles. I thought you were going to go, skill players, receivers, and I definitely didn't think Ben was going to pick Alumiwa Fashanu at the 11. So I also had him 6'6", 312, big dude. I thought you guys were going to go just kind of how we were talking, losing a lot of the weapons for the Chargers, didn't have anybody to throw to. I thought you guys were going to pick the receivers, but Alumiwa, I think that's how you say Fashanu. Guard tackle. He plays actually guard and offensive tackle, so can play both positions.
Oh, even better. I didn't know he played guard as well. So
Interchangeable. So I think he's a big threat. I mean, and if they need him to play, need him to move around, he can do that. So yeah, I think they're
Yeah.
going to go with him.
Yeah, 6'6", 320 and versatile. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad pick. And he's first ranked offensive tackle. So I mean, yeah, wouldn't be surprised there. I think that I haven't heard, but in a lot of mock drafts, I see the Chargers are interested in that Fuega guy. But yeah, Chargers could use a weapon too. I mean, but I had Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, and Roma Dunze already off the board, and I think it's a pretty steep drop for the next one. I think maybe like Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, maybe at the next one. But yeah, so it's kind of a drop off. So in my mock draft, I didn't have any really key spots there. I think they're better off taking a line than a weapon there. So, but then you had the Denver Broncos, who made some moves too in the offseason, getting rid of their quarterback and stuff like that. But yeah, at pick number 12, you have the Denver Broncos. Who do you got them? What do you have them doing there, Ben?
Well, we kind of touched on it earlier. This is the draft to get a quarterback. I don't think the Broncos actually go this route. I think they're actually going to be looking on the defensive side of the ball. And again, after probably pick 10, you're probably running into a lot of scenarios where people are trading to go up and get their guys. So the Broncos could definitely look to add capital, backloaded essentially. But for this mock draft, I have them going with Terran Arnold out of Alabama. I think, you couldn't go wrong with Kool-Aid either. I think they're both studs, but I have them going with Terran Arnold there, the cornerback out of Alabama. Pair him up with, Patrick Surtain, another Alabama guy, I believe. I think so too. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with that. So, Terran Arnold at pick 12 with Sean Payton.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting because Sean Payton loves his quarterbacks and everything. They do need work on the defensive end. They added a bunch of linemen last year, so I think they're good on the offensive line end of things. But yeah, they could use some defensive like cornerbacks, edge, stuff like that. And they could also use a quarterback. So this one was a tricky one for me. But I have them taking the edge out of UCLA, Latu, or whatever, however you pronounce his name. I have the UCLA edge out of heading to Denver to add some defensive presence on that rush. So
yeah, this was a hard one for me just because defense needs help. I mean, obviously need a quarterback. Their starting quarterbacks, I was just looking this up, or their two quarterbacks that they have, Jared Stidham and Ben DiNucci, on their roster right now. So that's tough. I don't think you can stick with one of those. And then they lost Jerry Jeudy to the Cleveland Browns. He was like their only target, I believe. Maybe they have another receiver.
Cortland
Sutton. Okay.
He's gone now too.
I think he's still there.
I'll look that. Yeah.
Let's look that up because I don't think he is. I think he's gone.
I thought maybe they let them both go.
No, he's still with the Broncos.
He is. Like. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think, even kind of just having him there, I think they still need a quarterback, not Ben DiNucci throwing to him. So I think they're going to go Michael Penix at 12. I think they got to grab him. They need a quarterback, but yeah, it kind of sounds like what you guys were saying. They need help on, pretty much everywhere, but I think they got to go a quarterback in Michael Penix.
Having to follow up with that on that, because I do like that pick, and I almost did it. What does Sean Payton love? He loves accuracy. He had Drew Brees for years. Who's the most accurate quarterback in college football? It's Michael Penix, and he was a dog. So I would love that pick too. So yeah, not a bad spot for Penix to go.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, Penix wasn't like a top prospect, but he performed well at the combine, performed well his pro day. But he's kind of fallen off. Some of these other quarterbacks are starting to rise above him, and a lot of people have him fall into like the second round even. Which kind of surprising, especially with all the teams that need QBs. But yeah, interesting. It starts to get a little interesting now with some of these picks. But yeah, now you have, after the Denver Broncos, you have the Oakland Raiders there at number 13, which they could be making moves and everything like that. But who do you got there at Oakland at number 13 there?
I have the Talise Fuega, offensive tackle from Oregon State. Shoring up that offensive line again. There's so much talent there that you can't let it go to waste on the offensive tackle position in this draft. So it's all about who they value. But I have the big man from Oregon State going to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I have them going offensive line here as well. I've seen a lot of mock drafts where they actually are moving up in the draft to get like Joe Alt or another offensive lineman. But I have them staying at 13, and I have them taking the offensive lineman out of Washington, Troy Fatanu. And so they could easily go quarterback though too, with like a Malik Neighbors or something like that. So I mean, yeah, but in my mock draft, I have Fatanu going at 13 to out of Washington to the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, this one was. I mean, these picks are a little bit tougher for me. After 11, I think I don't know, but I have the Raiders going Chop Robinson, that edge out of Penn State. Just a little other help on the other side of Max Crosby. And they did have. I know it was what is it, last year or 2 years ago. They used to have what was his name, a brother of the UFC fighter.
Oh yeah, Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones. So and man, if they were still playing together, that'd be a huge threat. So that's why I was like, they got to pick up Chop. And I like the name too. But yeah, I think the Raiders go Chop Robinson at 13.
100%. Yeah. When yeah, Chandler, yeah, he kind of went through a down spiral there, but it would be
Mhm.
sweet to see them, yeah, get it would be scary defense, but um
Yeah, and
yeah,
then what do they? I mean, their offense. They could use some off. Who's their starting quarterback? Gardner Minshew, I believe, is their starting quarterback at the moment.
yep, he got
And yeah, they still have Devontae Adams, but yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with this pick, honestly.
They lost their running back too.
yeah, Josh Jacobs is gone.
He's in Green Bay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure you're happy with that.
Oh yeah.
Well, especially after losing Aaron Jones to the Vikings, you got to be, yeah, got to be happy with at
Hmm.
least replacing him with a guy like Josh Jacobs. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is where it gets kind of tough. You have the Saints at 14. Yeah, who do you got the Saints rocking with?
Yeah, I have him going with the edge rusher from UCLA, Latu. I think the Saints always do something boring in the draft. I can't remember the last time that they made a splash. Cam paired with Cameron Jordan, kind of what we were just talking about with Max Crosby
Yeah,
and Chandler in the past. There, Cameron's getting a little old. He's probably pushing 29, 30, 31, which is kind of that time frame where defensive ends kind of start to fall off a little bit. So I have him going and getting an absolute stud in Latu from UCLA there.
yeah, lots. Yeah. I had Latu going to Denver, but yeah, absolute stud, could go either way. I actually have them picking up the tackle Fashanu out of Penn State there, for the Saints there. But who do you got, Evan?
Yeah, I got pick after you. So you picked Fatanu at 13, right?
Yeah, so Fatanu was at
Fatanu.
yeah, Fatanu was at 13, and then
Yep.
Fashanu, yeah, it's pretty
No, so
close to
Troy,
be.
yeah, Troy Fatanu, or Fatnow, whatever his
Yeah,
name is.
yep,
He's out of Washington. So
yep.
I mean, a lot of players from Washington coming into the draft in the first round, possibly. But I think, yeah, how about Derek Carr? Not sure what Michael Thomas is going to do. But yeah, Alvin Kamara too. So another block
Chris
for Alvin
Olave
Kamara.
is
Chris
stud too.
Olave, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Troy Fatnu. I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, just more protection. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Saints aren't bad. I mean, yeah, Saints weren't bad last year, but they could
Hmm.
use some upgrades for sure. Um, yeah, and then you have at pick 15, you have the Indianapolis Colts, who have Anthony Richardson coming back from injury, who looked phenomenal in the first 3, 4 games that he played, just out of control a little bit and stuff like that. But then, yeah, you had Gardner Minshew come in and help him out. But Michael Pittman Jr. got paid. You have Jonathan Taylor coming back, and I mean, yeah. What do you got going on? The Colts going on, Ben?
So I'm going to continue the edge rushers getting picked. I think this guy is, I mean, slept on, and that's Jared Verse out of Florida
Yeah,
State.
Florida
Hmm.
State.
I think the fact that he falls to 15, the Colts are just laughing in their boardroom, in their war room, for getting this guy, for not having to do anything for it. He
Right.
could ultimately probably be the best, better than Dallas Turner, better than Latu from UCLA. I don't think you can go wrong with it. So that's what I went with. I originally had them going corner and shoring up their secondary because that's been a weak spot for them. But ultimately, paired with DeForest Buckner there on the D line, I think ultimately, he's going to add just an extra push there to get to the quarterback. So
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that would be scary. I think Jared Verse is ranked number one out of the edge rushers at like the analytics and stuff like that. So yeah, it would be Colts would be very happy if he would fall to 15. But they don't have much of a tight end presence. They have Mo Alley Cox. They don't really have much of a tight end presence, and I still have Brock Bowers on the board. So I actually have Brock Bowers falling to 15, which probably unlikely, but yeah, I think it would be a huge addition to the Colts. They have pretty much every spot filled. They had a good defense last year, a solid offense for Gardner Minshew being their quarterback, and then getting Anthony Richardson back. The only piece they're really missing was a tight end. So I think Brock Bowers would be a huge addition for Anthony Richardson and the Colts. But yeah, what do you got, Evan?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of piggyback off you. I already had Brock Bowers off, but yeah, you're totally correct. I saw a few mock drafts that they had Brock Bowers going to the Colts, but I'm going to go receiver. I went receiver here just because obviously they only have Michael Pittman, and then they have a good running back. But I don't know, I got two listed here, but I just don't know who I should pick. But I'm going to go Colts at 15 to go Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. I think he's a beast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think just having a receiver on each side of the ball for what's his name? What's the quarterback's
Anthony
name?
Richardson.
Anthony Richardson. Yeah, if he stays healthy, he can run obviously like we've seen. But if he can toss the rock around, I think Ladd McConkey would be a good pickup.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, and like you said, the top 3 or 4 wide receivers were kind of like top tier, and then it kind of fell off a little bit. But yeah, Colts could use more weapons. I mean, yeah, a couple other, yes, Seahawks are up next. They have weapons, but do you guys want to keep going over picks, or do you guys just want to go over like more notable players like that we don't have? Like you said, Jared Verse was my next pick at 16. And then I had Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU going to the Jaguars because they just released Calvin Ridley or traded Calvin Ridley, didn't they, or something like that? Calvin Ridley's with the Titans. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so
yeah,
we didn't mention that earlier too.
I said that. I was like,
Malik Neighbors.
I was
So
like,
they
I
do have a
thought,
stud.
I thought they added one more wide receiver to DeAndre Hopkins, and it was Calvin Ridley. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I
And he
have
got paid too. Yeah.
I had Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Jaguars to replace Calvin Ridley, and then I had Ladd McConkey going to the Bengals because I think what would happen is I think that the Bengals are going to trade T. Higgins and get some capital for him because he's been wanting to get paid. They don't have enough money, and then pick up a wide receiver in the draft. So I think that might happen, but we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, what are your next picks?
Look at for the big man out of Texas, Byron Murphy II. I've seen if the Vikings stay at 11 and 23, I've seen them going with Murphy at 11.
Really? Yeah.
What we think about, what do they need? What have they been lacking the last 3, 4, 5 years?
Insane.
They've always had corners. I mean, not good corners, but suitable. Their safeties are solid. They went out and acquired Van Ginkel from Miami. They went out and got their dude from the Texans. Greenlaw. So, what do they need? Okay, defensive tackle there. So, I mean, if the Vikings hypothetically stay, I think they look for Penix later on in the draft. But I can see Byron Murphy going there. He's probably the best defensive tackle, three down technique kind of player there that can wreak havoc. And like, I guess I was getting to it, but I didn't get to it quite yet. But they have not been able to stop rushing attack. Any team that has a good rushing attack, I saw Aaron Jones kill him too many times the last 3 or 4 years to know that they haven't gone out and fixed this issue yet. They've tried with a bunch of older guys. They did draft. I believe his name was Brandon Roy last year out of LSU, and he was suitable. He didn't play a ton, but I could see Byron Murphy being right around this this value as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, and they got rid of, speaking of Vikings, they got rid of Danielle Hunter too. He's going to the Texans. So, I mean, yeah, you could see if they do stay at like 11 and 23, maybe hopefully, possibly getting like a Jared Verse or, like you said, off the end, or Fatu or Tatu Latu or whatever his name is. So I mean, yeah, there's so many things, and that's what's exciting about the draft. And this one's deep too. This draft, there's a lot of talent, a lot of positions that need to be filled by teams. Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be fun to watch, and I think there's going to be a lot of names even in like the second round too that come up and like he could be a first round talent. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
going to be
for
fun to
sure.
see how the draft breaks down. But I mean, top 15 picks. I mean, yeah, that was yeah. What do you guys think about that?
It gets. I mean, I think 10 to 15 picks is kind of like a good amount to like kind of guess. I think if you get down to like the late 20s, it's gonna be hard, because there's so much talent. Like I mentioned earlier, offensive tackle, there's tons of them. Receivers, there. I mean, obviously there's a huge gap in that top four to after that they probably dropped a little bit, but there's still good receivers out there. Um, and then even quarterbacks. I know there's a few quarterbacks that I have listed. I know that we have Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy. Any of you guys had Penix going in 15, top
Mm-mm.
15? I did.
I think I mentioned it with the
Yeah,
Broncos,
for
Yep.
sure.
but that's really the only spot that I would see him going.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then what? So I had a few on here. What do you guys think about with the Bo Nix situation? Because I did see a few mock drafts that the Vikings do stay at 11 and 23, and they actually end up getting Bo Nix at 23. I just want to know what you guys think about Bo Nix.
I don't think he moves the needle, to be
Yeah,
honest
I'm
with
not
you.
impressed.
He's just as old as Penix. He's
Hmm.
probably the same age as Sam Darnold,
Right.
honestly. That 24-ish
Yeah.
range. And Bo Nick, the Pac-12 was weak last year as well. Outside of Washington,
Hmm.
USC underperformed. Arizona was pretty bad. Washington State was pretty poor.
Right.
UCLA wasn't who they were supposed to be. Oregon State's always bad. So,
Right.
Yeah.
for him to make the jump from the SEC to the Pac-12, I just didn't see a big enough jump. He
Hmm.
did ball when they played Colorado. I remember watching that game because
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
everybody was glued into that game, and he
Yeah.
balled, undisputable there. I mean, you can't
Right.
argue that. But I just don't see him moving the needle. I could see, maybe the Broncos trading back and getting him late,
Hmm.
to make a splash a little bit too. I don't see him going the top 15, but
No.
maybe 28, 29, 30, 32,
Yeah,
right around there.
I was gonna say early second. I don't have him going in the first, I don't think. I have him going early second. But yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's tough. And then the only other one that I had on here, Spencer Rattler. I know in college he made a huge
Oh,
splash, but he's on there. This quarterback list is deep. Obviously, they're not all going in the first and second round. You will see a lot of late third and fourth round quarterbacks go. But Spencer Rattler, where did he start at? Because I know he ended up at South Carolina, but was he
he
always
went to
at South
Oklahoma.
Carolina?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. That's right.
Oklahoma, and then they brought in Caleb Williams.
Hmm.
Was that right?
Yep.
No, he lost his job to Gabriel, Dylan
Yeah,
Gabriel out
Dylan
of
Gabriel.
UCF, and then now he's at Oregon.
Yep.
And then so Spencer Rattler, he transferred to South
South
Carolina
Carolina.
and chopped it up in the SEC.
Yeah,
Played
Yep.
decent for what he had in front of him.
yeah.
He's got that attitude though. I don't know. Did you guys ever watch that Netflix show? They follow QBs around in high school.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
I know. I haven't seen that.
So
I mean, I've
I
seen
think it's
like
called
in
QB1, and they followed. It was him, Sam Hartman in the same class, and then
oh
some
yeah,
dude
yeah.
that just didn't go anywhere. But he's got an attitude about him, which I can kind of appreciate.
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, you're gonna hit me, try and hit me harder.
Right.
Um,
He's got that
so
swagger a little bit. Yeah.
that swagger, and I appreciate a little swagger. So, I mean, Spencer Rattler, he can go somewhere and
Yeah.
make a name for himself. I hope he does well.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
think his size is what's gonna get him or is gonna lower his capital and he's gonna fall just because of his size. He's not a big fella.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But we didn't really touch on the Packers, Evan. I mean, I know we did it earlier, but I had Kenyon Mitchell out of Toledo going to number 25 to the Packers. But what are your insights on that? I know you mentioned a
Yeah.
couple, but
Yeah, like I mentioned, yeah, defensive backs for sure. I think they're going defensive back, pick one or their first pick. I had three listed. That Kool-Aid, Cooper DeJean would be my go-to, so I have him going at 25 to the Packers, and then that Quinyon Mitchell. But I think the biggest one is Cooper DeJean balled out in his Iowa Pro Day. I ran a 4.42, and if he doesn't come out and play starting corner right away, he's a hell of a punt returner. We saw it. Um, I think, I think Packers go Cooper DeJean if they can get him.
I think,
But
yeah.
I think he could go a little bit earlier too. I mean, he's a stud. But there's a lot of stud corners out there, like you mentioned too.
I think
I have
he's
him going with
safety.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I think he's safety, listed as safety though, Evan.
Kool-Aid is.
No, Cooper DeJean. I think he's listed as safety in the.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, Kool-Aid would be a solid one out of Alabama, or Taron Arnold on the other side is a solid corner out of Alabama too.
Yeah.
I think want to say that they have the Iowa guy listed as a safety, Cooper DeJean as a safety. But
do they actually? Because I thought I know he played corner in college. I believe I know that for a fact. I think.
He's coming off an injury though too.
yeah,
That is-
true,
that-
which
that-
did lower his
But
draft
I-
a little
capital a
bit
lot.
cautious with that, conscientious with that. So
Yeah, but who was that guy at the combine that ran a 4.22? He was a corner as well. That's the only thing he did. He ran 140. He broke the record. for
Out
the
of
40.
Texas, he was a wide receiver.
yeah, I thought that was wide receiver.
Oh, receiver.
Out of
Okay.
Texas.
What was his
Yeah.
name?
Xavier
Worthy. Xavier Worthy.
Yep.
Xavier Worthy.
Gotcha. Okay, but yeah, there's still a lot of talent. And I had one more question for you guys. I know, and this was just came out. I just popped up on my phone 45 minutes ago. I didn't want to say anything right now or prior, but J.K. Dobbins goes to the Chargers. That's a huge get. He's obviously coming off injury too.
Yeah,
But that's a big get.
ACL. Or Achilles.
So
Yep.
they just signed Gus Edwards too.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're getting both
So now they have-
Baltimore backs.
Yep, the brothers are trading players around a little bit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, they go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
Yeah, they needed a backfield. I mean, they got rid of Austin Eckler's son, and they needed to pick up some backfield. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, just to piggyback that, the coolest story I think would be if Blake Corum, obviously his head coach in college, moved to the NFL Chargers. I think if he went to the Chargers, they need a running back, or they did. Thought that'd be a cool story, but I just feel like he's pretty small. He's a beefy back, but he balled out in college. I think he's just a little bit too small to go high in the draft, so I think he'll probably fall a little bit, but who knows? But that's all I had.
Yeah, no, it's a stacked draft, and it's going to be exciting. Next 4 days. So it starts on Thursday next week, the 26th or the 25th, and runs all weekend. Obviously, the first round's on Thursday, but no, it's going to be star-studded. Everyone's going to be trying to get their franchise guy, but you also have a couple of local dudes from SDSU, and Mason McCormick and Isaiah Davis entering into the draft. Any more guys out of SDSU, Ben, that you know of?
Well, we have Garrett Greenfield, left tackle.
Oh, yep, true. Yeah,
That's
he was
the
in the
record
combine. Yeah,
for
that
a
was crazy
38-inch vertical.
That's insane
38
for-
inches is insane. Are you
for how
picking me
big
up?
he is too.
So he's gonna go late. I mean, Mason McCormick made such a name for himself in the draft process here.
Yeah,
I could see him, realistically, trying to be a realistic fan. I'm a diehard SDSU fan, so it's hard to not be a little biased here. But I could potentially see him being a really, really early third round pick.
yeah, or late second too. I mean, yeah,
Potential,
his-
depending on who goes.
Yeah.
I mean, he can play center, he can play left guard, and he can play right guard. And you're gonna get a mean,
bulldog.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
bulldoze you into the ground, and I'm gonna laugh at you once I do it too. Psycho almost. It's kind of seemed like I didn't really
Oh
miss,
yeah.
I don't think I really missed all but 2 or 3 SCSU home games in his career there, 6 years, and just loved watching him play. We're going to miss him up at SDSU, and whoever gets him. Right now, I see he's potentially going to go to Green Bay. I would hate
It would
that.
be
'Cause we
fun.
already got my guy Tucker
That'd be pretty
Kraft
cool.
up there.
Yeah.
But it's just something's in the water up in Brookings.
hell yeah.
Garrett Greenfield, universal, probably can play right tackle, left tackle, 6'6", quick,
Yeah, athletic.
obviously.
Yeah,
And then lastly, Isaiah Davis, running back that made a really big name for himself in college football. Lit it up was it the Senior Bowl? I believe it was the Senior Bowl. Lit it up there, came back, had a lot of good reviews. Probably a 5th, 6th round pick realistically. But whoever gets him is going to get a guy that is going to put in work.
yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. That's what the South Dakota boys are all about that hard work, and that's why we have you on, Ben. You know so much about football. You're a big South Dakota guy, so you got a lot of insight on what's all coming out of South Dakota, and it seems like you got a pretty good keen on what's going to happen in the draft. So we appreciate you coming on, man. We appreciate you sharing your insight and everything.
Yeah,
You got
thanks
anything
for
else,
having me.
Evan?
Nope, that's it, I think.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys. Thanks again, Ben. We'll
Yep.
see you guys next week on the pod. Until then, peace.
Have a good night, boys. We'll
Yeah,
see
you
ya.
as well.
Yeah.